Thanks to feminism and many other forms of indoctrination, many men and women today believe that a traditional dating and relationship dynamic where the man is leading and the woman is following is now outdated and archaic. And in this video, I'm going to show you why that is completely untrue and why this idea hurts both men and women. Hello, I am Zach Rohde, and I am here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams by learning how to inspire a man into cherishing you by using feminine energy and feminine communication. Make sure if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you do that below, hit the notification bell, and be sure to like this video because I'm going to make it a good one for you. So what many men and women have been conditioned to believe today is that a man leading and a woman following his lead is it's wrong, it's outdated, it's old-fashioned, it's something that shouldn't be done anymore, it's hurtful to women, it's something that makes a woman less than, and none of that is the case. The big piece that is missing in this picture is that a man must be devoted to his woman. His leadership must be done with care, not because he's superior, not because he's better than her in any way, not because he has a right to tell her what to do, but because he is choosing to step up into that role of responsibility of leadership to take care of her. Because her feelings matter, because her needs are just as important as his own needs. This doesn't make a woman less than in any way. It makes her worthy of his care. Of course, a man who's leading just because he's entitled to it, because it's culturally acceptable for a man to be the one that's leading, there is a problem with that. Not every man is deserving to lead a woman. If a man is to lead a woman, he must choose to take the responsibility of taking care of her heart and her body. And why it has been culturally ingrained for men to lead women in basically every society for thousands of years, it's not actually cultural. That's not the reason that we're doing this. Culture is just reflecting our instinct. It is a man's masculine instinct to lead a woman, to lead. And it is a woman's instinct to follow, to receive a man, to receive his care, to receive his cherishing, to receive his protection, to receive his provision. And one thing that's happened with this indoctrination through feminism for decades, really over a century, intergenerationally, is that we have been conditioned to ignore our instinct. We've been conditioned to listen to our beliefs in our head and not what our body is telling us. And even if we were listening to our bodies, that can be really difficult because we have so many wounding that has covered up a lot of our natural instinct. Now, before I started teaching this, before I shifted my relationship, I was very much a 50-50 guy. I wasn't a full-blown feminist by any means. I could always see that there was a lot of nonsense in that, but I still didn't understand how fundamentally different men and women were. And so when I married my wife, I treated her more like a roommate with benefits rather than a woman that I am in charge of taking care of. And I'm in charge of cherishing her and protecting her. That is my job as a man. And it wasn't until I had a son where my instinct, my masculine instinct to provide and to protect fully came online. And then there was no going back. And that was when I realized, wow, I've been really failing as a man in my marriage. I haven't been leading my wife in the way that I need to be doing. I've been failing in my responsibilities. And I couldn't go back at that point because things that didn't bother me prior to my instinct waking up now started to bother me. So for example, my wife leading in any kind of way, if she was, going off by herself in a store, if she was leading a conversation, if she was even judging me, depending on what the judgment was, it didn't really bother me. But after my instinct came online, all of that stuff bothered me. It became really irritating to me because it was now going against my fundamental need as a man to lead, to be the leader, to be seen as the leader, to be trusted as the leader, to be respected as the leader. And of course, my wife's instinct to follow, to receive, to be protected, it was always somewhat online, but still buried under this wound of independence, hyper-independence really. And so there's things that I did prior to my instinct waking up that definitely did irritate her, but not nearly as much as it should have. And one of the interesting things about doing this work is the more that your instinct comes online, the more, call it destabilizing it is when a partner is not showing up in the way that they should, right? So if you feel as a woman, you feel anxious because a man is not stepping up and making plans, or irritated if he's kind of going with the flow, if he's not creating the solid container for the relationship where it's like it's just about you, if he is not fully in integrity with himself, if you can't feel his strength, if you can't feel his backbone, if he's not setting really strong boundaries for himself and for you, if he's not protecting your heart because he's being reactive in some kind of way, your feminine instinct is going to react to that. That's your feminine instinct. There might be wounding on top of that that makes the reaction stronger, but that's your feminine instinct that's telling you something is wrong. We have been conditioned to believe that the differences between men and women are basically just surface level, right? Like we have different genitalia, we look different, women tend to be shorter, women tend to be curvier, and that's where we think that it supposedly ends. But no, we are actually more different on the inside than we are on the outside. We have fundamentally different programming. Men are born to lead a woman, to take care of her, to protect her. Women are born to be taken care of by a man, to be cherished by a man. If you have any self-judgment or any shame around your instinct, your need for a man to show up in a certain way, it's time to start accepting who you really are. There is nothing wrong with this instinct. It's natural. It's who you are. It's beautiful. Even something as often judged as gold digging. We'll look at that for a moment. I'll do a future video on this. So a woman has a need to be provided for. Now, gold digging is a problem if a woman is specifically using a man for money, right? That would be just as bad as a man using a woman for sex. It's a very transactional thing. But women often will judge themselves for wanting a man that is a provider, that does have a lot of money, that is paying for everything, paying for her dates, all of this stuff. But that's a form of provision. That is one of the ways that a woman is loved and feels loved, is for a man to take care of her financially and to take off the responsibility that a woman has of having to provide for herself, or worse, of having to provide for her man, or co-provide each other. That doesn't mean that a woman shouldn't work. If a woman is really passionate about something really fulfills her, there's going to be a time and place for that, especially if she's not a mother of young children. But there's still something in you that will feel good about being taken care of in that way. Unless, of course, you have a ton of shame around that, and you have an identity of being hyper independent and being able to take care of yourself and being really competent, and then it might not feel good. But understand that that's a wound, and you can work through that wound. And underneath that wound, it will feel really good to be taken care of in that way. That's the way that it's supposed to be, right? You're wired that way. Just like for a man, if his instinct is online, he's going to feel really good about providing for you, about paying for you, assuming, of course, that you're grateful for what he gives you, and that you're respecting him as the man and you're letting him lead. Otherwise, he won't feel good about it. He'll feel like he's being used. But if you're really in your heart and you're grateful and you're just in your feminine energy, he's going to love giving you that care through money. It's just one of the ways that men lead and take care of a woman. One way to think of this dynamic and how it's so instinctual, is through looking at dancing, right? And I've used this analogy so many times, thinking of a tango dance. A man is leading the dance and a woman is following. She's receiving his leadership. Now, how did basically all dances, for the most part, happen that way, where it's the man that's the one that's in charge of leading and the woman is following? Is that cultural? Is that just because a bunch of men arbitrarily decided it because, we're men are supposed to lead because of these specific rules that we've created, or because it's in the Bible or whatever, and let's make it so that the man is the one that's leading the dance? No, that's not why. Okay? Culture reflects instinct. It is a man's instinct to lead, and it is a woman's instinct to follow. Do you like to lead while dancing? Like if you were to tango dance or salsa dance or something with a man, do you want to be the leader? Do you want to lead him around the dance floor? Unless you got some really big wounds around your instinct, you probably are not going to feel really good about that. You're going to want the man to be leading. You're going to be wanting the man to take charge so that you can let go. It is your instinct to let go, to just flow, to just receive. And most women, I think, most women today don't have much issue with the idea of a man leading a dance, because that doesn't really threaten their identity that they've built up. It doesn't really threaten the ideology of feminism or whatever they've been indoctrinated with. But the idea of a man leading an entire relationship is a very different story, because they believe that, okay, that makes me less than. But if it doesn't make you less than for a dance, why would it make you less than for a relationship? It's like you're being taken care of on that dance floor. The man's anticipating your needs, making sure you're having a fantastic time, and the exact same thing is true in a relationship and on dates and during the dating phase, the courting phase, right? It's a man taking care of you, taking care of his woman because you're worthy of it, because he cares. And what's so beautiful about this dynamic is it's so complementary, because it's a man's need to lead and to be respected and trusted as the leader, and it's a woman's need to receive, to follow devoted leadership, to receive provision, to receive that safety and protection, both emotional, physical, financial, everything kind of safety. And so when a man knows how to lead with that level of devotion and care, and a woman knows how to follow and be a good follower, which means learning how to communicate her needs in a vulnerable, respectful way using feminine communication, then the perfect dynamic happens. The man's needs get met. He feels like the hero. He feels like a champion. He feels like a king. And a woman feels like a princess. She feels like she's just being so taken care of, and she is being taken care of, right? She feels so much safety and so much provision from him, and she just gets to receive it all. That's the way that we're wired. When a man doesn't know how to lead and a woman doesn't know how to follow, and both men and women, those types tend to attract each other, it's not very good, right? There's typically a lot of conflict. There's a lot of unmet needs. There's a lot of hurt feelings. There's a lot of misunderstandings. There is a lot of problems. This all gets fixed when a man learns how to lead and a woman learns how to follow properly, be a good follower. Again, feminine communication. Because if you just follow passively and just go along with whatever a man wants, he's going to be leading in the wrong direction a lot of the time. He's going to be hurting you a lot of the time. He might not even be stepping up in the way that you need at all, right? Because he's just lazy or passive himself or whatever. And that's not going to fulfill your needs. You need to learn how to inspire that kind of man. And you do that by being a good follower, using feminine communication, being in your feminine energy. So you're not trying to inspire him. You're not trying to get an outcome from him. You're just naturally inspiring him and informing him just by being you, just by expressing your heart. Learning how to share your feelings, learning how to share your needs, learning how to ask for what you want, learning how to share problems without blaming or judging in any kind of way, and being able to do it in a completely uninhibited way, where you're not thinking about whether you're doing it right. You're not walking on eggshells. You're not thinking, oh, is this the right time? I don't want to misstep. It's just, you're able to just fully let go in all ways. And it just feels so good. Just like on the dance floor. That's what this is all about. It's let's make your love life as fun and easy and flowing as it could be with a competent man on the dance floor with you when you know how to just follow him. This is what I help women do in my academy program. I actually give you the coaching, the support, the information, the practice, everything that you need to make all of these shifts, learn how to communicate this way. This is also what I help women do in our masterclass, where we'll explain what feminine communication is, show you how to use it, actually role play it. You won't actually be on the role play, but we will role play it for you so that you see it. It's what I show you in my women's dating course, and all of the links to these offers are in the description below this video. If you have not yet checked these out, if you have not yet taken up one of these offers and started learning and started making these shifts, then your love life is not going to change. It's going to stay exactly where it is until you decide that you need to do something different. You're going to get exactly what you've been getting until you learn how to show up in a completely different way, in a way that's going to fully honor you, and it's also going to respect a man and inspire him into taking care of you. So go to the description below, click one of the links, start learning this stuff.